বসি আছে ঘোড়া ছান রত্না সিংহাসনে কিবা বসি আছে ঘোড়া ছান আরতি করে না ব্রহ্মা আদি দেবগানে Ibanara hari adi kori chamara dulaya Ibanara Anjaya mukunda basu Goshadigaya Iba shankha baje ghanta baje baje karathala shankha Madhura mridanga bhaje Paramarasala Babahu koti chandra jini Badana ujvala Ki babahu koti chandra Kala deshe panamala Kore jalamala Mashiva Shukanarada Premegada Gada Iba Shiva Shukanarada Akati Vinoda Deke Korara Sampada Iba Jaya Jaya Gora Chane Arati Koshoba Chana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Gorangera rotika shoba Raga jana mana loba Gorangera rotika shoba Jaga jana mana loba Gorangera rotika shoba Jaga jana mana loba Gorangera rotika shoba Jaga jana mana loba Shanka baje ghanta baje Madur 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 baje Shanka baje ghanta baje Madur 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 baje Shanka baje ghanta baje Madur 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 baje Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Om Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Gaura Premanande Haribo.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Asatosh Shamad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Asatosh Shamad. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki. Adanta Koti Vaishnavindi ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamkun Radhakund Gita Govardhan ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vindiki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki Samaveda Bhakta Vindiki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Vrindavan Nami ki Mayapur Dami ki Jagannath Puri ki Transcendental Book Distribution ki Hari Nam Sankirtan ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees and all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Praladadaine. Hiranyakashipurvakshah Shilatankhanakhalaye Hito Narsingha Parato Narsingha Yato yato yami tato narsingho Bahe narsingho hridaye narsingho Narasingamadim sharanam prapade Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta singha dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa keshavadrita narhari rupa jaya jagadisha hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narhari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
Hare Krishna. Thank you all dear devotees for joining today. This is the extension of Radhashtami festival today, and we had a wonderful festival yesterday. Many devotees joined and they'll be slowly coming in, I believe. So let's welcome all of you saying 3 times Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And also not only that, we are extremely fortunate to have His Grace Brajabikari Prabhu. We had such a beautiful discourse last night regarding the how they love devotional service. What is the difference of devotional service and the material activities, and what it really means for it, and how we can all take that proper understanding and perform loving devotional service to the Supreme. So Prabhuji was, yesterday was very nicely and very detailed explained to that. It's very simple to understand, and we can always keep that in our mind. Thank you so much for nicely explaining that. And today, Prabhuji is going to continue and revealing the secrets, the confidential knowledge to us, that how we can approach and perform our devotional service in the mode of service. So let's welcome Prabhuji saying and saying 3 times Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And Prabhuji is a traveling monk, and so many wonderful discourses, and we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji here today. And we'd humbly request Prabhuji to kindly bless us. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna anyamsha hasta charana shravana tvagadim prana namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam sya Sri Chaitanya namamiti. Hare Krishna. Thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to discuss Krishna consciousness today with all of you. Thank you, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. This is one of the most special literatures that you will ever find in the world, because this was spoken by the Supreme Lord to Arjuna, who was in the middle of a battlefield. And all of us are also in the battlefield, right? Every day is a struggle. Life is a struggle for existence, right? No. Everybody is struggling. Anybody having no problems at all in life? If there is somebody like that, please raise your hand. You are a very special soul. You deserve this garland, first of all. And we will do arati of you. It's very, very rare to find someone who has no problems at all in life. Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam upetya punar janma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, this world is dukkhalayam. What is the meaning of dukkhalayam? Dukkhalayam means, alaya means an abode of dukkha. Dukkha means misery. Krishna has stamped this world as dukkhalaya. How can we have false hopes and false expectations from this world? You know, the expectation-reality gap is the main cause of misery. Like in India, in Hindi we say, Sanskrit we say, alaya means abode. So when we say pustakalaya, means what? A place where you find books, or a library. Library is called pustakalaya. Vidyalaya means a place where you get vidya, knowledge. That is a college or an educational institution. So in Vidyalaya, you get vidya. Pustakalaya, you get pustak. In Madiralaya, what do you get? Madira, liquor. Bhojanalaya, you get bhojan, prasad. So if you go to Bhojanalaya and say, you're sitting in a restaurant, in the Bhojanalaya, and the waiter comes, and you tell him, please get me the first 3 cantos of Bhagavatam. He will say, Are, you have come to Bhojanalaya, go to Pustakalaya, go to Granthalaya. Like that. And if you go to the Pustakalaya library, and the librarian opens the door, and you're going inside, and you tell the librarian, I want 1 plate of masala dosa. Librarian will say, get lost. You have come to Pustakalaya. You have not come to Bhojanalaya, right? So when you go to Pustakalaya, you get Pustak. When you go to Bhojanalaya, you get Bhojan. Similarly, when you come to Dukkhalaya, what do you get? Dukkha. Material world is Dukkhalaya. And if you come here, we will get suffering. So if we expect suffering, then when suffering comes, you will not be miserable. Because you have punctured. Because you are already expecting it. Our problem is, we are expecting this world to give me happiness. That is why we suffer. Otherwise, this world is treating all of us equally same. If you go to India, if in India, if I tell, when I go back to India, they will tell me, Prabhuji, you are come from America. America people must be so happy, no? They think American, when anybody comes to America, they are very happy. They don't know. One Mataji was telling me today, Gundicha Mataji was telling me, that when we leave India and come to America, so dukkha and suffering is packed in the bag. we get dukkha here only. It's not that we become free of suffering. But the grass is greener on the other side. People foolishly think, oh, devotees in America must be happy. There is a true story. Some years ago, one billionaire in India was interviewed. What is your desire? What will make you happy? He said, if I go to this small village, he spoke about one remote village in Maharashtra, hilly area. He said, if I stay there in the mountains, in the trees, I will be actually happy. And that reporter went to that village, mountain, and he asked one villager there, what will make you happy? He said, if I can go to Bombay and become a billionaire, I'll become happy. So the billionaire wants to come to village, the villager wants to become billionaire. This is the reality. In fact, now that we are in America, I'll give an example. In India, I can't give this example. So the greatest book America has ever produced, like we have Bhagavad Gita. In America, the greatest book America has ever produced is called Walden by Henry David Thoreau. In fact, you'll find Henry David Thoreau's quote here on the Bhagavad Gita also. See, it's here. And Ralph Waldo Emerson, they were like very close friends. Emerson was the mentor of Henry David Thoreau. So this is in 1840s. So Henry David Thoreau, he went and lived in Massachusetts in a lake called Walden. He stayed on the bank of the lake for 4 years in the forest in 1840s. And he wrote this masterpiece book called Walden, where he speaks about connecting with God, connecting with nature, and understanding deeper relationship with God. Only that will give happiness. So in the 7th or 8th chapter of that book, I was reading when I was in college. He writes an interesting story that one day it was raining heavily in the forest. He had made one small hut to stay in that forest for 4 years. So he was running to go to that hut because it was getting dark. On the way, he wanted shelter because it was raining. So he saw one villager and he entered that villager's house to take some shelter. And that villager welcomed him inside. This is 1840s, huh? How many years? 180 years ago we are talking about. So he was talking to the villager and they were talking. And then that villager asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm here writing a book. I'm staying here. So then Thoreau asked him, what is your desire and goal in life? He said, I want to go to New York. I want to earn a lot of money. And he writes in this book that I am living in the nature and I'm finding so much peace and happiness. And he wants to leave this opulence and go to earn money. So this is an eternal problem. So what Henry David Thoreau did, he studied Bhagavad Gita. You can check on Wikipedia later. And his guru, Emerson, he studied Vedanta. And they had another friend called Oliver Wendell Holmes. So in Boston, they started one group. In 1850s, they started a group called Boston Brahmin Community. It's actually a group, Boston Brahmins. In Wikipedia, if you type Boston Brahmins, you will find all the American names there. Because they studied Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, they understood that only this can give peace and happiness. They understood this in 1840s. And that book inspired Leo Tolstoy, who is considered as the greatest writer ever in history of mankind. Henry David Thoreau and Emerson's books inspired Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. They all were inspired by these authors, and these authors are taking knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. So ultimately, we are rejecting our own culture. That is the point I'm trying to make. And Bhagavad Gita clearly tells us, don't have false expectations from this world. In fact, Henry David Thoreau, he died at a very young age of 45. And he used to not only read Bhagavad Gita, he used to worship Mother Ganga. He is living in America, never been to India. But he used to worship Mother Ganga. He used to eat a curd rice every night, evening, because curd rice is Indian food. He used to do yoga. So you can imagine all this he was doing. And when he was dying, people asked him, do you have any regrets? He said, no, I'm now going on good sailing. During those days, like we'll fly now. Those days they used to go in ship. So he was ready to die. And somebody asked him, have you made peace with God? He said, I'm already in one with God. He was connected to the Lord so much. So this is the only solution. External adjustments will not help us. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, there are how many chapters? 18 chapters. The first 6 chapters focus on what yoga? Karma yoga. Last 6 chapters focus on Jnana yoga. The middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, focus on Bhakti yoga. And within this middle 6 chapters, the middle chapter is 9 chapter, which is called most confidential knowledge. Like in a sandwich, or a burger, there is bread on top, bread below. But the main, what is that called? Cheese or the cutlet in India we put. That main stuffing is in the middle of that sandwich, right? Top is a bread, below is bread. Similarly, Karma Yoga, first 6 chapters, last 6 chapters, Jnana Yoga, it's like covering. But the main ingredient, Bhakti Yoga, is in the middle. And there Krishna is emphatically declared in the 9th chapter. Very beautifully, Krishna says that if you practice Bhakti Yoga, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Idamuttamam, Pratyaksha Dharmyam, Susukham Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge Krishna declares to be the king of all knowledge, Raja Vidya. He says this is Raja Guhyam, this is most confidential. This is the most pure, Pavitram. This is Uttamam, this is the best. And the best part of this verse is, Krishna says, Pratyaksha Vagamam. You can directly experience this knowledge if you practice it. And the last line is the best. Susukham Kartum Avyayam. You will experience more and more happiness when you practice Bhakti Yoga. Now, best part is, Krishna has just declared in the previous chapter that this world is a place of misery. This world is a place of suffering. And now he says that you will be very happy if you practice Bhakti Yoga. If there's a paradox, if there's a contradiction, no. The reality is, this world is full of suffering. And Bhakti Yoga helps us tolerate that suffering. That is the main thing. See, when I used to do youth preaching for many years, I used to go to colleges and speak to young boys and girls in Bombay. And I used to speak this verse from the Gita, world is full of suffering, problems. And they used to challenge, these boys and girls used to challenge. No, this world is a happy place. How can you say this? You are pessimistic. You are giving negative. I said, no, we have to be realistic. No, there is no suffering like that. I used to have difficult time convincing them. But when in 2012, I started congregation preaching, Grahastha preaching. The first lecture I said, this world is full of suffering, and everybody, yes. Everybody is nodding their head. So I said, thank God, you agree with me. So life is like that. But what happens, when we come in satsang program, we see all other grahasthas sitting. We look at each other. Oh, that Prabhuji is there. Oh, Sharmaji is there. Oh, Dubeji. Sab hai idhar. Achha. Because they know I am suffering. He is also suffering. And he is also here. So all suffering people are together. So we feel little consolation. We are all together, holding on to each other. Because life is tough. And this association, and in association when we glorify Krishna, we can tolerate. That tolerance is an extremely important thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, the first knowledge Krishna gives Arjuna is what? The first knowledge Krishna gives is Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkhada Agamapayino Nitya Tam Stitikshasva Bharata Tam Stitikshasva. Stitikshasva matlab tolerate. Tolerate what? Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya. Whatever experiences we get in this world is experience of contact of the senses with the sense objects. Like you get some nice rasgulla, that rasgulla has gone into your mouth. The Rasgulla is the object, your tongue is the sense. They have contacted. So all experiences are contact of senses with the sense objects. So Krishna says, Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkhada. Summer, winter, happiness, distress is all external. Agamapa, anitya, it will come and go. And it is anitya, it is not permanent. So you simply tolerate. Krishna is telling tolerate. When I read the shloka first time, I was shocked. Because from childhood, I had been hearing that we should tolerate suffering. But first time in Bhagavad Gita, I heard Krishna telling Arjuna that we should not just tolerate suffering, we should also tolerate happiness. When I read, how can Krishna say tolerate happiness? Because happiness is also temporary. The more we jump like a monkey during happiness, the more distress will become when we get suffering. Tolerate. Because this will also pass. Have a higher purpose in life. That is a Rupa Goswami, our main Acharya. Srila Prabhupada is following Rupa Goswami. We are called as Rupanugas, right? Srila Rupa Goswami has given us 64 items of devotional service. And what is the 11th item? Equilibrium in loss and gain. This is an item of devotional service, not to get too excited by material gain and material loss. Tolerate, tolerate. Now you may say, Prabhuji, but tolerate is very difficult. You're controlling something, tolerating something, like a volcano, one day you will explode. I remember once, many years ago, one boy joined the temple. He was really struggling. Poor fellow, nice boy. But he was smiling externally and serving. But inside he was tolerating. How much will you tolerate? One day he was serving prasadam, sambar, to everyone. So one day he said, hey, give me extra sambar, some more sambar. So he got suddenly, for so many days he had been tolerating something. Suddenly he came with the bucket. He said, and he lifted the bucket and he was about to put the whole bucket of hot sambar on his head. He said, you want me to put the whole sambar on your head? And he lifted and he was about to put, and then everybody screamed. And then suddenly he realized what he was doing. And then he kept the bucket down and he ran up and he started crying because he had been holding it. So if you tolerate, one day it will explode. So you may think tolerance is very difficult. Therefore, Krishna says in the 9th chapter, most confidential knowledge chapter, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Remember me, glorify me, worship me. So when we connect our mind with Krishna, who is all attractive, then the mind becomes peaceful. Tolerating becomes easy. Because Krishna, see, there is something special about Krishna. Let us for some time discuss this logically. Krishna is not ordinary word. Krishna is not ordinary person. When we hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna, chant Krishna's name, there is some relief experienced. The proof is, if you want proof, I'll give you simple proof. Every year, Janmashtami, we glorify Krishna. And same Krishna pastime we discuss, isn't it? 90 chapters of Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Right? So do we increase the chapters? Every year, same Krishna comes to same Mathura, kills the same Kamsa in the same wrestling match. And the speaker is speaking this for the last 40 years. Hare Krishna moment, last 50 years, devotees are speaking same Krishna story and nobody is bored. What is the proof? This is the proof. That means Krishna, there is something special. It is not that this year, Prabhuji, we have got so bored talking about same Krishna doing same pastime. So this year, Krishna will enter Mathura in helicopter. We'll make something dramatic. We'll make Krishna do something special. Do we have to do like that? No. Why? Because Krishna, Rupa Goswami defines, is called Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Krishna is embodiment of all rasa, all sweetness. If we connect with Krishna, we will experience the strength to tolerate all the dukkha, all the suffering that we get. Otherwise, there is only suffering in this world. In India, we say, तजुर्बे ने एक ही बात सिखाई है, नया दर्द ही पुराने दर्द की दवाई है. You know, experience has taught me that new pain is the remedy for old pain. There is always pain and suffering in this world. So let us not fool ourselves. Let us practice Krishna consciousness, where one of the main teachings of Krishna is tolerate. And the strength to tolerate comes from remembering Krishna. Unfortunately, what many of us do, we don't have the taste or the desire to remember Krishna and hear and chant Krishna's name. So when we get pain, what we do is we do this. I'm going to show you what we do. Most people, when they get suffering, they remove this. 1, 2, 3, in 3 seconds, their suffering ends. They are on YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, binge watch. They think suffering is gone, but what is happening is the pain is numbed. You are taking a painkiller. This is simply painkiller. This is not medicine. For some time, the pain goes away. You forget your misery. But the pain has not gone. It has been numbed. Then it will come back with interest. It will come back with interest and you will feel so lonely. Therefore, the solution is to embrace pain, not run away from pain. And embrace pain is done by accepting the pain, tolerating it, and remembering Krishna. It has been proven scientifically that those who spend too much time on the smartphone, they actually land up becoming lonely. It has been proved. I will show you so many articles written in Harvard Business Review. There are research scientists who are proving that how smartphone addiction is the greatest problem in modern society. Because it is preventing us from tolerating. Earlier, when I was a new bhakta, some class is going on. If I got bored in the class, I had no choice but to sit for the whole 1 hour class. Now, if you are bored in the class, you are just 1, 2, 3 seconds away from not getting bored. You can go on the smartphone and watch something. So distraction is very high. So we have no training to tolerate pain. We have no training to tolerate and just be present in class, in chanting, in hearing, in service. So this stimulation, this constantly agitating ourselves with dopamine kicks and stimulating ourselves is preventing us from experiencing satisfaction. Satisfaction and stimulation are two different things. Pleasure and happiness are two different things. Pleasure is what the senses experience when it is bombarded. When you get a notification on your smartphone, it gives you a kick. It gives you a thrill. There is a dopamine rush. Dopamine is not a happiness chemical. It is a reward chemical. It gives you a feeling that happiness is around the corner. It's somewhere there. I'm going to get it. This is exactly what happens when you are on a slot machine, when you go to a casino and gamble. That excitement, that thrill, that something is going to happen now. I'm going to get happiness. That is called a dopamine kick. And that's what these gadgets give us. And this thrill and this excitement and this stimulation prevents us from accessing deep happiness. Because deeper happiness is not at the sensual level. It is at the level of the heart. And at the heart, only when we have connection to the divine. And to connect with the divine, we have to tolerate and we have to experience pain of this world also. Just like while eating nice prasad, they serve Karela first. Indian sabji, Karela or neem ka sabji. Then you eat that, and then in the end they serve you gulab jamun, cheesecake. You relish that sweet more when you eat first sabji, which is not sweet. So similarly, in life also, we have to first go through purification. We can't just circumvent purification by stimulating ourselves. Therefore, Krishna is telling us, tolerate happily. And to tolerate happily, we need who? Krishna. Just imagine, for last 50 years, our Hare Krishna devotees are chanting same Hare Krishna mantra, same Krishna story, same pastime, and they're enjoying it. This means Krishna is different. Because in this world, whatever we are doing, we are looking for what is called by Rupa Goswami as a rasa. You know what is rasa? Rasa means what? Juice, nectar, mellow, taste. I'll give a simple example. If a mango is kept here, some of us will start, we get attracted to that mango. Why do we get attracted to the mango? Is it because of the color of the mango, shape of the mango, smell of the mango? It's because of the taste. Mango as rasa. And similarly, everything in this world has got rasa. Why do we enter into a relationship with someone? Because the relationship gives us some rasa. Why do we watch cricket match? Because that cricket match gives us some rasa. Everything in this world gives us rasa, rasa, rasa. But the problem is, the rasa of this world deteriorates after some time. It is like a child chewing bubble gum. You know, in India, when we were children, we used to chew these bubble gums, chewing gums. Initially, it is very sweet. After some time, it's simply an exercise for the jaws. You get bored, but still you want to keep chewing the bubble gum. Then what do? Then you make a bubble out of it. Have you seen children make bubble? They make bigger bubble. Then it's a bigger bubble, and then that bubble bursts and it sticks on the face. And then they remove the filaments of that bubble gum. Have you seen children do this? Similarly, in this world, we enter into some relationship because we get rasa. We're excited. There is romance. There is fun. There is joy. There is thrill. But after some time, it becomes a drag, boring, which is simply keep dragging. And finally, it sticks on the consciousness and we're trying to remove it. Completely miserable because there is no rasa. But Krishna is called as what by Rupa Goswami? Akila means all-encompassing rasa. Akila Rasamrita Murti. He is the personification of rasa. Come and talk to Krishna, pray to Krishna, chant Krishna's name. Your rasa will keep increasing. And you'll get the strength to tolerate the suffering that is coming to you. Because suffering is going to come. No one is spared. Everybody will get suffering. You have a choice whether to take it smilingly or cryingly. Everybody gets. But when Krishna is there, you can tolerate. Because Krishna is Akila Rasamrita Murti. That's a proof, simple proof. How can devotees chant same Hare Krishna mantra? For last 40 years, I know devotees in this Hare Krishna movement. Since last 50 years, they are chanting same Hare Krishna. Can you imagine somebody singing same film song, Bollywood song every day? Oh, bore. He want new song every day. And even if he sings old songs, he wants remix. And he can't hear the same song. But Hare Krishna mantra is same mantra we are chanting. That means this mantra has rasa, which increases over time. If we are attentive, we will be happier by chanting Hare Krishna, hearing same Krishna story, associating with devotees. This will give us the strength to embrace pain and tolerate suffering. Because suffering is in everybody's life. We glorify Srila Prabhupada as pure devotee. You know how much suffering Srila Prabhupada had to go through. We may say, oh, he is devotee of Krishna, he had no suffering. That is true. But to teach us, Krishna arranged in such a way that he had to go through a lot of pain. He was a grahastha before he took sannyas. Do you know that? And how many children did he have? Anybody knows? How many children Srila Prabhupada had in his grahastha ashram? Huh? 1. He had 8 children. And none of them accepted Srila Prabhupada. Because he was preaching Krishna consciousness. What pain father will get when your children reject you. All 8 of them. 3 of them died during childbirth. During those days, death in childhood was common. Remaining 5 children. Oldest one was Sulakshmana, who was born in 1921. So when she became married, she went to Kolkata and stayed with her husband and family. She had no interest in Prabhupada and his preaching and his family life. And she got busy in her own life. And she disconnected from the family. The second son of Prabhupada was Prayagraj, who when he was in college fell in love with a girl but couldn't get married, and there was a lot of complication and problems, and he became mad. And Srila Prabhupada as Grahastha arranged him to be treated in the psychology ward of the most posh hospital in Kolkata in the British wing. Prabhupada could have said, let us just chant Hare Krishna will cure all problems. But Prabhupada got him treated by the best psychiatrists. The treatment seemed to work for some time, but the boy went back to his old ways, and finally he was seen begging and collecting food from the garbage bins of Kolkata, wandering like a street urchin and beggar. And when Srila Prabhupada came to know, he was crying. Third son Mathura Mohan got so angry that his father is preaching, taking sannyas, that he became totally anti-Krishna consciousness. He rejected his father openly. The fourth child was Bhakti Lata. She was 14 or 15 when Prabhupada left home. She was so upset, so disturbed and traumatized that she refused to get married. And then she moved into the house of her youngest brother, Vrindavan Chandra, who also was not happy, but only in only Prabhupada's last years, he accepted Prabhupada's. So out of the 8 children, only one child accepts what you are doing. It will not be painful for a father who is serving the whole humanity. So Prabhupada went through 6 business losses. He was trying one business after another to help his family. He tried so much to preach in America, only challenges, setbacks, suffering. But he was always remembering Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada was in America, in the initial days in New York, there is a very beautiful story. He says he had never, if you see in the history of America, 1965 December winter is considered as the coldest winter. And that is the time when Srila Prabhupada was in New York. And he says, I'm alone here, but I am not lonely because I am remembering Krishna. In fact, there is one lecture in room 307 where Prabhupada stayed before he moved into 26 2nd Avenue. There he's preaching to all old people. They're not interested in Krishna consciousness. To excite them, to make them interested, Prabhupada starts telling them about Indian culture, why in India women have hair parted, why men have Brahmin thread. He's speaking all different things. Still, people are not interested. And then in the middle of the class, Prabhupada says, and you have seen Krishna's beautiful painting? And then suddenly Prabhupada realizes that these people have no idea what is Krishna. In India, even Muslims and Christians know what is Krishna. And he's talking to American men and women, old people, and he's telling them, Krishna painting you have seen, no? Krishna. And there is silence, total silence in the class. Not like here. Here there are people talking in the back. But there was complete silence. You can feel it in the audio, in the tape. Prabhupada again says, Krishna, you're not saying Krishna's painting? Krishna? You know Krishna? And again silence, because for them Krishna is like a word. Like you may say any word, like Harry, Tom, Jack, Krishna. They doesn't make any, it doesn't ring any bell. So Prabhupada says, then Prabhupada's voice lowers because he feels disappointed that these people have no idea about Krishna. So he says, Krishna, you don't know Krishna? And you can sense that, as like, where have I come? And then Prabhupada says, Krishna's, Vrindavan, you know Vrindavan? If they don't know Krishna, will they know Vrindavan? So again, there is silence. No, people are saying no. Vrindavan, you don't know? Sacred place, Vrindavan, holy, sacred place. So one lady in the audience, she says, yeah, secret place, magnetic energy. So she thinks it is a secret place. So Prabhupada says, not secret, sacred place. Prabhupada realizes that these people have no idea what is Vrindavan, what is Krishna. His voice drops. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So Prabhupada's voice drops. He's completely disappointed that they don't know about Krishna, they don't know Vrindavan. And you know what Prabhupada says? I'm missing Vrindavan. I left Vrindavan to come here, but I'm not happy here. I want to go back to Vrindavan. And one lady in the class, one old lady, she says, yeah, I know you're not happy here. She's echoing Prabhupada's mood. And Prabhupada says, yes, I am not happy here. I am hankering to go to Vrindavan. And then Prabhupada says, but I will not go. My Guru Maharaj has ordered me to preach. So the point I'm making is disappointments and setbacks and failures, everybody faces. But pure devotee has Krishna. That's the Srila Prabhupada. I mean, what spirit he had, coming to America with no support. Like there is one letter Prabhupada writes from America to Indian president. Please don't think I'm a madman. That letter is so heart-touching. I have a clue of how we can all go back to Godhead. Please believe me. He's appealing, he's begging. In fact, he had very little money. When he was in America, he was staying in room, after Ramurthy Mishra's yoga studio, he stayed in room 307 in New York. And he was paying $100 every month rent, and he had no source of income. And whatever little money he got by selling Bhagavatam. But that money also he could not use for his own needs because that maximum money was spending in correspondence with India. Getting help, trying to get help from Sumati Morarji, Padampal Singhania, Rajendra Prasad, Radha Krishna, Indira Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri. He was writing letters after letters to his god brothers, Tirth Maharaj. So many people, if you read Lilamrita, you will find the kind of variety of people he's writing and convincing them to help him. And the only message he gets is, you will not get any help from India. You have to do it on your own. So all that money is spending on correspondence, and he doesn't even have money to buy chilies, which cost 3 pence. So he starts eating food once in 2 days. So much sacrifice, suffering, struggle. But because he had Krishna, he says, I never felt lonely. So we'll all go through failures, setbacks. Therefore, tolerating is the key, but tolerance is not easy. Those of you who are grahasthas, I'm sure you know. Life, you have to tolerate. Some people say, Prabhu, my wife or my husband is very uncooperative. Some people get a good husband, but they get bad in-laws. Some people have good in-laws, good spouse, but their job is miserable. Some people have all three is good. Job is good, in-laws are good, spouse is good, but neighbors are very bad. Relatives are very bad. Sometimes everything is good, but the children are disobedient. So something or the other will always go wrong. That is the nature of this world. Because in the Bhagavatam, Mahatma Vidur has very clearly said this. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko nate sukham va nyaditaramam va vindeta bhuya tata eva dukkham nayatra yuktam bhagavan vadena. He gives the psychology of human beings. He gives this 5,000 years ago, which applies in 2022 also. Listen to this. He says, all human beings are working hard to get sukha. Sukhaya karmani. Karma karte hain sukh ke liye. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko. People are doing sukha karma. And what they get? Nate sukham vanyad. They don't get that happiness. Then they reduce their expectation. They say, okay, itaramamva. Let me work hard to reduce the pain that I'm getting. That also doesn't happen. Vindeta bhuya tata eva dukkham. They get more dukkha by doing karma for sukha. Nayatra yuktam bhagavan vadena. Why is this happening, my dear Lord? Then he only answers the question in the next verse by saying, Janasya Krishnad vimukasya devad adharma shilasya sudukkitasya anugrahaye acharanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardanasya. He says, this is happening because Janasya Krishna vimukha. They have turned away from Krishna. Janasya Krishna vimukasya devad adharma shilasya sudukkitasya. Then dukkha becomes more dukkha. Therefore, we have pure devotees like Prabhupada, anugrahaye acharanti nunam, to bless the humanity. They are traveling. Bhutani bhavyani janardana. They are giving us Krishna. So please don't underestimate the power of Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada started telling about Krishna to the hippies, the young boys and girls, when they started learning about Krishna, they were completely mesmerized. And Srila Prabhupada, look at his Bengali accent. Look at his body. He's a 70-year-old man from Bengal talking to American hippies, and they are getting excited and attracted to Krishna. This is predicted in the Bhagavatam, that if you glorify Krishna, even if you have imperfection, even if you don't have proper pronunciation, even if you have grammatical mistakes, still this will bring about a revolution in the society. That's a very famous verse in the first canto, 5th chapter. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abudya yatyapi namananantasya yashonkitanyat shrinvanti gayanti grananti sadhava. If we glorify Krishna, there will be viplavo, there will be revolution. And he's saying, and Narad is saying, abudya yatyapi, even if this glorification is full of mistakes, still, because your intention is to glorify, there will be revolution. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, English is a foreign language for me, and what I am presenting is maybe full of literary discrepancies, but my intention is sincere. I am sure that this will bring revolution. He is writing this 5 years before he went to America. And that is, so basically this shloka is a prediction of Srila Prabhupada. And this is what happened when he was talking about Krishna. He was speaking about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sanatan Goswami is giving lecture on Sanatan Goswami to the hippies. They are not able to understand what is Sanatan. Satswarup Maharaj in his notebook, they are writing notes in the class. He writes Sanatan spelling as suntan. Wally writes as Sonton. Everybody writes different spelling for Sanatan. And Prabhupada's accent is Bengali, a little bit. So he says, Sure, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to shave all of you. And these hippies had long hair. So they thought, Mahaprabhu has come to shave all of us. So they looked at their hair. And then Prabhupada smiled. He understood that they are thinking. So Prabhupada said, he has come to save and shave both. How many of you are Bengalis here? Any Bengali? One. Can I make a joke on Bengali? Don't feel offended. See, Bengalis are very sweet. Their language, when they speak Bengali, it is like as if they have Rasgulla in the mouth. Very sweet. The language is very sweet. But accent, one Bengali came to our temple. He called all the devotees home. Ghar mein aayenge, bhojan ke liye aayenge, bhojan. So we were happy. We thought he's going to feed us. We went to him. He gave us kartal and mridanga and only, because he meant bhajan, but he pronounced it as bhojan. Bhojan karega, bhojan means bhajan. Bhajan karega. So Bengali's pronunciation is very amazing. Once Mirza Ghalib, one Urdu poet, he went to Bengali to teach him shairi, poetry. And after he told the Bengali fellow that you repeat what I am saying. And after the Bengali repeated, Mirza Ghalib got heart attack. Mirza Ghalib said, Na gila karte hain, na shikwa karte hain, tum salamat raho, ye dua karte hain. This is like a poetry in Urdu. So he told him to repeat. So the Bengali said, Na gila kurta hai, na suka kurta hai, tum sala mat raho, ye dua karta hai. So you can see Bengali's language is very intense. Very sweet, but difficult to catch, And Prabhupada is having this Bengali body. He says in one lecture, he says, what to do? I have an Indian body, I have a Bengali body. But he has Krishna in his heart. So it doesn't matter. Prabhupada gives the example in that same verse purport that if there is a fire in the house, you're in a foreign country, you don't know the language, still you can communicate because there is fire. Similarly, this world is burning. Let us tell the world that this world is burning. Let us give them Krishna. So like this is the only solution, only remedy for all of us. So I request all the devotees here to take up to the Krishna consciousness process very seriously and get the strength to tolerate whatever is going to come. Each one of us is going to get our quota. Don't try to run away from it by opening your smartphone and going to YouTube, Netflix. That is not going to solve problem. That will only make the pain worse. So Association of Devotees is the anesthesia. When you are with devotees, Krishna feels okay, anesthesia done. Now you will do surgery. So let us allow Krishna to do surgery. Hare Krishna, Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki jai. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai. Gaur Nitai ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So what do we have now? Questions? No. Questions? Yeah. Hare Krishna.
The real family life that brings happiness begins with the spiritual master. And his spiritual master is a grandfather, and his spiritual master is a great grandfather. And actually, the wife of the spiritual master is also our mother. This is the real household affairs, and the nephews and the uncles, everything have to be in that form understood. And that's the really household ashram that brings happiness in the universe. And that'll bring the happiness, not the false household life.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
Someone else?
Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful lecture. My question is, we say this Dukhalayam Shashvatam, right? So for normal people, when we say something like that, they'll just think it's like so depressing, right? That how do we, make sure that it doesn't get interpreted as a depression or something like that,
So you tell them it is a miserable place, you tell that laughingly. Don't say it miserably. Like, my cousin's WhatsApp group. Want me to speak about it? Yeah. My cousin's WhatsApp group, I'm part of that. They are putting so many jokes on misery of married life. They're all married people only. But they're all passing jokes about misery. If I say it will become offensive. Hey, brahmachari, okay, you are criticizing Grahastha ashram. But Grahastha is only making joke of married life. And I'm realizing why they're making so many jokes. Then I realized they're all suffering, but just to feel little peaceful, they're making jokes out of married life. So many jokes on marriage are going everywhere. You've seen all this, funny jokes. So the point I'm saying is this world is miserable. Your friends also know it. So what you have to do is, you have to practice bhakti so nicely that you are happy. So what happens? They see, he's saying the world is miserable place, but he's happy. Outside world, the self-help gurus are saying, be positive, be happy, but they're miserable. I was giving class to the children 2 days ago here only. And yeah, you were there, right? Surbi was there. Sorry? Yeah, you were also there. Yes, all of you were there. So I was giving the example of so many Bollywood superheroes, famous stars, their life story, how they were very successful and happy externally, but internally they were very miserable. So therefore, people are perceptive. They can see, Hare Krishna, people are saying this world is miserable, but they are happy. So we are not pessimistic, we are realistic. So it is better to under-promise and over-deliver. Say this world is miserable, but they see you are happy. Outside world, they are over-promising and under-delivering. That is a big difference. So, and I always say this world is miserable. And I'm telling you why it is important. This positive thinking that people are giving outside, this is actually not positive thinking. It is called toxic positivity. It is poisonous positivity, because when we deny that this world is suffering, denial is the worst kind of lie, because that is the lie we speak to ourselves. I've written a whole book on this called How to Accept Suffering. This is a book I wrote some years ago. Actually, I didn't even get these books. Devakanandan Prabhu had some copies. He told me to announce. This is a book I wrote called Mind Your Mind. I'm speaking about 3 principles on how we can experience happiness in this world. Awareness. Second is acceptance, accepting misery. A lot of examples of how people have accepted suffering and how they moved on. And the techniques for handling suffering is also there. So I wrote this book, it's Mind Your Mind. And for details, you can contact Devakanandan Prabhu. This is published by Hachette, one of the top publishers in the world. And this book, at one point of time in 2019, when we released this book, this was in the top 10 in the non-fiction category. Now, of course, 3 years have passed. I'm writing another book called Lessons from the Road. It is complete. It is going for publication. So you can read this book for more details. But if you are sincere in presenting Krishna consciousness, people will see that, yeah, this world is miserable. They will laugh about it and they will be happy also. It's very important to be practicing bhakti sincerely. Otherwise, if you are miserable, and then if you say this world is miserable, then it is depression. So it is important that you are happy.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Is that
Hare
okay?
Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
In the same sequence, how to handle people who could not absorb our happiness.
Means, can you elaborate?
Well, they see devotees and they're practicing devotional service and they are happy. Right. And sometimes people they're not getting involved in other family obligations and all. And then they start thinking, oh, why they are happy? So sometimes we come across people where they say, oh, and then they will restrict their family members. Oh, don't go to temple because you are just being happy for yourself.
No, that's why. So basically, how to deal with them? So when we are happy in practicing bhakti, we should give that happiness to our family members. I remember when I started coming to ISKCON, when I was a young boy, my counselor told me, now you are very happy, you are chanting. Now first thing, go home and start helping your parents. So I started going home. I was very blissful. I went to the market and purchased sabzi. My mother was shocked. What happened to him? So I started behaving very well at home. I started helping my family members. So they realized this Hare Krishna is good. After going to Hare Krishna, he is happy, but he's also serving us. So what we have to do is we have to give love to our family members in a way, tangible way that they can appreciate. But that doesn't mean we compromise in bhakti. We chant, we hear, we associate with devotees, and sincerely give what the family also needs to whatever way you can. And still, if they don't like, then you continue to be respectful to them, but don't compromise on bhakti. Like, if a young boy is in love with a young girl, he's really, really in love with her, and the girl also loves him, but the parents don't agree. So what will this boy and girl do? If they are cultured people, they will not fight with the parents. They will be respectful, but will they give up the affection for each other? They will be respectful to the parents, but they will also continue associating with each other. So similarly, Krishna is the most wonderful personality. We want to have a loving relationship with Krishna. And if our family doesn't accept, we respect our family. We take care of them. But how can we not serve Krishna? So, and sometimes, yes, people will not appreciate. That's one of the challenges devotees face. Krishna demands from some people some big price. What to do? I have no solution for that. There is no magic formula. I have so many devotees go through different kinds of pain. Some devotees go through family pain, Some devotees have families cooperating, but they go through problem in a devotee community. Everybody goes through something or the other. And I've seen even devotees go through, then I realized, why look for, why not accept that there is suffering? Otherwise, when we try to create a solution for the problem, that solution creates bigger problem than the original problem. Earlier there was a problem in the society of walking. People had to walk long distance. Walking problem was there. So they created vehicles, car, then aeroplane, so that walking problem is solved. Now the pollution has become so much because of these vehicles that there is breathing problem. So what is the bigger problem? Walking problem or breathing problem? There was a sage who was sitting under the tree. The Puranas explain this story, that this sage was sitting under the tree and doing meditation. And he had a big beard. So an ant fell on his beard. He said, I am a non-violent preacher, non-violence preacher. How can I allow this ant to be killed? So he took his beard to the tree and said, oh, my dear ant, go back, go back. So that time there were many ants in the tree. All of them jumped on his beard. And then to protect his beard, he ran and he jumped into a pond and he cleaned himself and all the ants got killed. So he tried to save one ant and landed up killing all the ants. So this is the material world. We try to solve one problem, and in that process we create some solution. That solution creates bigger problem. Oh, it is never end only. I don't know. I was a student of economics for 7 years. I studied economics. So one of the most famous paradoxes we studied was the Cobra paradox. This is a classic case study in in world economics theory we study, that during British India, in Delhi, there were a lot of cobras. So the British government said that, oh, there are a lot of cobras. If somebody catches those cobras and gives us, we will give them 1 rupee award. So they thought if they put this 1 rupee award, all the cobras of Delhi will be wiped off. But they underestimated the Marwadis. Marwadis are so smart, they started breeding cobras. So every day they would supply hundreds of cobras to the British and get hundreds of rupees. So after some months, the British realized, Arey, we are paying so much money, but the cobra population is not reducing. So the British did some research. They understood, oh, there is this cobra business going on. So they stopped the scheme. So they stopped the scheme of giving 1 rupee. By that time, the Marwadis had bred. Earlier, if there was 1,000 cobras in Delhi, now it became 10,000 cobras. And the British suddenly stopped the scheme. So what did the Marwadis do with the cobras? They released it. So now the cobra population became 10 times more than the earlier. So there was a problem of cobras. Solution was created. That solution created bigger problem. This may appear to be funny, but in our life also it happens. You have a challenge with the job, finances, income. Then you come to America to work hard, get more money, and then your parents are upset. Then family. Oh, so many complications devotees go through, and then this problem. Then your children issue, that issue. Oh, Krishna. Then you think, what am I doing? So therefore we have to be very, very kind and respectful to our family and everyone. But Krishna consciousness is the only thing that can keep us sane. So do what you need to help our family, but Krishna will really take care of us. We'll stop. Yeah. Yeah, 8 months. Prabhuji is saying to share my experiences with my mother.
You spent 8 months in COVID times with your mother as a brahmachari.
Yeah. I went, my mother was sick. So before COVID, I went and I stayed with her for 8 months. I had to go around to hospital, get medicines, manage the whole house for 8 months. And then my respect for Grihasthas increased so much. Now I look at Grihastha and I offer always Dandavat Pranam. Because I had to manage the house, my sick mother, the grocery, the electricity bill, the hospital bills. It was intense. And then I realized, and I was simply managing to finish my 16 rounds. That was the only thing I was doing. No hearing, no chanting. When chanting was doing, 16 rounds I was doing. But full day service. And then I realized, my God, Grihasthas have to manage so much. So therefore, I'm telling you, life is very tough. So Krishna consciousness is the only thing that will give us peace and relief. So I was very grateful to Krishna because, I could serve my mother. Otherwise, I was supposed to come to America that time. And suddenly COVID happened. If I had come to America, I would have felt so guilty and miserable because my mother fell sick. So I'm very grateful to Krishna that I got that opportunity and I could serve her nicely for 8 months and she gave profuse blessings. Today morning also I called her. I call her every few days on video call. So her health has improved. She's much happier now. But, life is full of regrets. I remember when my father passed away, I was in Badrinath. And my father has written letters to me blessing me for being in the ashram. I have laminated those letters. But still when my father died, when my father passed away, I was affected with so much pain and guilt that I was not there to serve him. Although I'm a devotee of Krishna and we are serving Krishna, all that is there. But parents are, parents after all. So then for many months, I would be having that, I would be shaken. And then of course, by chanting, by prayers, by devotees, mercy, I became all right. But the point is we have to serve our family. We have to give them the best we have, but not at the cost of forgetting Krishna. So we have to remember Krishna because, there is no end to suffering. There is no end to how much you can serve people you love. Serve them, but also remember Krishna. That is the point I'm trying to make. Is that okay? We can stop here. Any other question? Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
When you were saying that you were able to, serve your mother during the time of COVID and do bhakti as well, right? Do you think if you were not a sannyasi, you would have difficulty in doing both? Or actually, the question is different, but I want to understand your
I don't
comment on
know.
that.
I don't know what would have happened. But it's not. I mean, I can't say what would have happened because I don't know what would have Krishna arranged. I'm not God, but I know life would have been. I would have different challenges. Now I have different challenges, but challenges will always be there. So, grahastha life and brahmachari life. The challenges I may hear you and understand your problem, but I cannot fully understand, and you will never understand my problems. Because a fish cannot understand the challenges experienced by the bird. The bird can never understand the challenges of the fish. You will never understand what it means to live without a companion. And I will never understand what it means to live with the companion.
The grass is always greener. On
Exactly. But when I stayed with my mother for 8 months, I got first-hand experience of managing a family, managing a house. But I didn't have that part of a wife and children part. That's like, I could imagine that must be 10 times more challenges, of responsibilities. But if we run away from responsibilities, we are increasing our misery. So therefore, as in the saffron order, don't think that, we have run away from our family responsibilities. We have some responsibilities here of living with integrity and honesty. And that's very tough. See, this cloth, a doctor wears his apron, he comes back home and removes it. A policeman removes his uniform. But we have to put on this uniform 24 hours. Right? An army, in India, we glorify army people. Wow. He has sacrificed his life for the country. He has died for the country, but he dies only once. If you put on saffron, you have to die many times. You have to kill your desires many times. So it's not easy. So there's a responsibility. There is a responsibility in both ashrams. So basically, you have to choose your pain. Choose your misery. Life will give you, what you go and pass in the toilet. What is that called? Stool. The dignified word, but that is what life will give you. You have a choice of the topping on it. What kind of topping you want. Life will give you lot of suffering. So you choose it, and then I have Krishna and devotees. Devotees are the anesthesia. So if I was not a brahmachari, answering your question again, I don't know what kind of challenges would have come. But I'm sure it would have been intense and exciting as well.
So I think if I understand your feedback, it is that just continue and make a balance with whatever you are doing.
Do the best you can. Do the best
you can.
Because Dharma Sankat is what even Lord Ram experienced. See, when Lord Ram was in his kingdom, he had this intense challenge when 10 of his ministers gave feedback that the whole kingdom is talking about Mother Sita inappropriately, so you should abandon her. Now, there's another topic on why Lord Ram did not banish Mother Sita. He kept her in Valmiki Muni's ashram. Ashram means there is shelter there. But Lord Ram was a king and he was also a husband. So as a husband, he failed. But how many of us here have been kings? It's easy for us to criticize Lord Ram, but we don't know what is Dharma Sankat. Having two rights. So I've seen so many devotees in America. They are like, my parents want me to come back to India, but my family needs me here. What should I do? Both are right. It is Dharma Sankat. You are like in Lord Ram situation. That is called purification. That is called the challenges. I know one grahastha, his daughter is now 13 and she's fallen very sick and he needs to give her 4 to 5 hours every day extra to take care of her. But this is exactly the time when he's growing in his career in such a way that if he gives himself extra 8-9 hours in the workplace for the next 4 years, then the rest of his life he will be comfortable. But if he does that, his daughter will not get the attention. Both are right. It is Dharma Sankat. You can't have a black and white formula for that.
You have to go. Life is not black and white. Life is many shades to it. So you have to go through that. So you may make mistakes. It's okay. But that's the time you have to tell yourself, I make mistakes, but I am not a mistake. I am work in progress. So that's why I said acceptance is very important. This is what I've spoken in the book, that we have to accept ourselves for who we are and love Krishna. Not beat yourself that, I'm failing in this duty. The world will always tell you are a failure. Nobody will understand you. कोई नहीं मिलता समझने वाला, जो भी मिलता है समझा के चला जाता है. That is the world. Nobody will come and understand you. They will give you lecture and go away. So you have to go through that suffering, that pain. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So if you are interested, you can take this book from Devakinandan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Oh, so books will be here. Okay. Anyone came first time?